All right,
API 100?
right. What's that?
API 100?
Yeah, I'm going to start at API 100. And this is a book called Hacking APIs, and these are projects from the book and the demonstration app from the book. I thought it was very good, and I ran a server running it so you can practice this. So APIs are not equal to websites. Websites have these pages basically containing HTML you can view in a browser. APIs are listening for requests formatted like web requests, but they're not intending to send the result directly to a browser. They do a specific function like authenticate, create a new user, something like that. And your websites will request a little bit of information at a time. So um, the first thing you have to do is find API endpoints. And so we'll do this one first, and then we're going to, what's going on here? I got to get this thing to open in a new tab. Okay, and then we're going to set up Postman. Postman is the tool you use for APIs, and you often use Postman together with Burst. And it's called Postman because it's designed to send post requests, which are the requests used to send data up to the server, like username and password and forms to sign up for things. So we connect to the crappy server, that's his name. And this is, of course, a deliberately vulnerable API. And here you've got login and sign up. And so the first thing now, I've already made a mistake. I want to be doing this in the burp proxy, not in this browser. So I'm going to copy this URL. I think copy will do it. And then get to the burp browser, which is here. Okay. And put it in there. All right. I'm going to make this smaller so I can easily get to the burp behind it and the instructions here. All right. The login page opens. All right. So now I want to use the developer tool to explore source files. So I'm not going to use burp right at this moment. So it is view developer tools network. Okay. Developer tools network. Okay. Then refresh, and I'll see the sources used to load this page. All right. There we are. Refresh. And on the network tab, I should see, there they are. Here's the sources used to load the page. Here's cascading style sheets. Here's some JavaScript pages, some JSON, and favorite icon. Okay. Now, I want to find the one called f1560.chunk.js. There it is. Okay. And now I can right click it and open in sources panel. I can see it this way, but I can also use something called the sources panel, which makes it a little bit nicer. It lays it out better. And now I can search in here for API calls. And now apparently when I did this before, this all went in one page. Mine is already set to pretty print, perhaps because I've already done it on this machine. The button to control that is here. Yep, so this is what you see first. You see one horizontal line of JavaScript, and this is because they've apparently condensed the JavaScript to make it smaller, I think. So this will pretty print it, which puts in the carriage return, so it's a lot easier to read. You can scroll down here. All right, and now we can just search for API. This is one way to do it. You could also just scroll through it to find things, but I'm going to use Command F and search for API. And here we are. Now you can see the API. This is handy. So the first thing you have to do is find what's called the endpoints. These are all the functions the API has. And this API has a login, a dashboard, a sign up, a reset password. Looks like 2 or 3 dozen functions it has. And this is, of course, your attack surface. And as I was mentioning, this is extremely common that you have things like this, and some of these fail to check for authentication. Some of these will let you do something, and they really ought to make you log in as the administrator first, and the developer or somebody made a mistake. It's extremely common that one of these will just let you do something you shouldn't be able to do. All right. So that's one thing, finding all these endpoints. Now, and part of that, here's a word you can find there for a token. All right. And now there's another one here. So that's the first thing, is to find your API endpoints. After that, the next thing is to put them in Postman. So you got to have Postman, and you're going to need to have an account. So I guess I can make this account, and I should do it in Burp's browser, it says. So create a new account. All right. Let me go back to Burp's browser. And I don't need this right now, although I may want it later. I'm just going to go here and sign up. Okay. And so it's going to be test. Let's see, what's the name of this thing? WASTC. Let's just do demo. Might be good enough. Okay, my email is going to be demo@Mailinator. I don't think it's going to actually send me any mail, but if it does, Mailinator is a free email service where I can receive mail and I don't have, then I have, what is this phone number? Okay. And password and re-enter password. Okay. So I'll just use, how about just password? Nope. It has policy, digit, small letter, capital letter. Okay. So I'll try a Microsoft standard capital P at SSW0RD. Okay, it'll take that. That's, of course, not a secure password. It's just something I can remember for a throwaway account. So it's demo and password. Sign up. Okay, user registered successfully. Okay. So now we're going to examine that, and we're going to see the API call in Burp on the proxy tab. So that's Burp here on the proxy tab. Okay, here's old stuff. Somewhere at the bottom will be this stuff. There's my post API identity sign up. I think that's it. Yep. Okay, so this one here, here's the request. It's a post request. And here you have, looks like JSON structured data sending up my name, email, password, and phone number. So this is reasonable, the usual stuff. The content type is application JSON, which is this stuff with the curly braces and name : value in pairs of data. That's normal. Okay. So that's a very typical kind of request. Now we're going to recreate this in Postman. So I've already got Postman installed and I just updated it. So I should have the latest version, just like you folks will. And Postman is a pretty complicated tool like Burp, and they keep changing things. So one thing is, when I first started it, it asked me if I wanted to create an account, and I chose not to. So I'm working in something like a temporary scratch pad, which seems to be okay. All right. And so now here I am in Postman. Let me shove this up here and let's see how well my instructions work. Okay, in the top center, you click the plus to open a new tab and then build a request. So up here, there we are. I have an untitled request here already. I could just use, I guess I'll make a new one. I don't really need to. Okay, now the request is a GET by default. You build the request. It's going to be a post. And now you can just put in the URL. Now the URL you could get from Burp. This is the end of the URL. And this is the server. The host is here. So it's that information followed by this information with an HTTPS in front. So that's the URL. Copy, go to Postman and paste. Okay. There we go. That's going to go there. And now we're going to build this. I'm going to make this narrower so we can do. All right. So let's see if I can make this narrower. Okay. So change. What's that? All right, so change the
Microphone.
Okay.
If you were trying to sign in, your sign-in was successful.
Somebody signed in to successful. Anyway, so all right. So now I'm here. Go to the body tab for the body of the request. Change the type to raw, and change the subtype to JSON. There. And now I can paste in this data. All right. And I'm going to use, I can probably use this data as it is. You folks will have to change something. Guess I'll change something because you can only create an account once. Let's see if I can highlight and copy this junk. There, I think I got it, except for perhaps the closing curly brace. I need to add the closing curly brace, and now I need to fix it so it's not, that I had the same, okay, 1112, that's different. I'll just put Sam2 here. Sam2 and Sam2, okay. Okay, so that should create this account. And now notice it put it all in one line, which is annoying. So I can hit beautify to see it in a nice way, make it easier to read, which is fine. Okay, so it should look like that there, which it does. And now we can go to the gear up here and settings. See, here's a problem. Settings. And see, we're eventually going to go through burp. We're planning to send this through burp so we can examine the request. And as we know, that's going to break HTTPS. It's going to say your certificate is not from a trusted authority. So we have to make sure that it will accept that. So we're going to find SSL certificate validation here. Which may be on the certificates tab now. It used to be on this tab when I wrote these instructions. Oh, there it is. SSL certificate validation is off. Okay, it's already been turned off here. If it's on like this, you're not going to be able to go through burp for HTTPS traffic. So you got to do that. All right. I don't think you have to hit save or anything. I think it takes effect right away. Okay, now we're going to send this data. Instead of sending it directly to that server, we're going to send it through burp. So we go to settings here, and then proxy. And here, we add a custom proxy configuration. Looks like it's already set on mine to send HTTP and HTTPS through the loopback address on port 8080. So this is good. It should already go through burp because I've done this project before on this machine. All right. That's it. Now I can send that request. Let's go to burp before I do that and clear off the old stuff. Just so we know what's going on, I'm going to clear all this old data. Okay, now we're going to send that request from Postman, send. It sent, and look, it said user registered successfully, so that's good. And in burp, we see it did send the request. Notice it's somewhat simpler, I think, than the one I had before. But anyway, you can see it went through burp. You can examine it. It created another account with that name and password, and there it goes. All right. Now we created an account. Now I'm going to log in. So in burp, in burp's browser, log in with the email and password you chose. So let's go to burp's browser, which is here. And I'm going to log in with that account I just made, which was Sam2. Is it email that goes here? It is. Okay, so it's sam2@mailinator.com, and that same fake password, SSW0RD. Okay, that should let me in. Let's see. All right, what did I do wrong? Let me check my burp, because burp has the request used to make this, sam2@aol.com. Oh, that's why. Okay. I sometimes use AOL because it's faster to type, but if they were actually to send emails there, I wouldn't be able to get it because I don't really have those accounts. Anyway, now I should be able to log in, and I'm in. And apparently this is some kind of vehicle sales or maintenance shop that they made here. So now I've logged in. It knows who I am. It says, good morning, Sam2. And that means it has sent me a bearer token. So we go to burp, and you will see the bearer token. This is the cookie it uses to identify that you're logged in. Here's my post. Find the GET request that loaded my vehicle information here. It can only do that after I was logged in. And see, here it is, authorization bearer. That thing there, that blob of base64 encoded stuff is a Java web token, or JSON web token, pardon me. And that's what identifies you. And see, burp needs that. I mean, Postman needs that. Postman needs this authorization to prove that it's logged in. because most requests require you to be logged in. So we are going to we're going to add that information into Burp. So I'm going to right click this or highlight this and copy it. Okay, now we're going to make a collection in Postman. Let me get back to my Postman. I have to be a little slow and careful about this because it's easy to get lost in Postman. Here I'm seeing history. I don't really want to see history. What other choices do I have? How about clear all? I don't care about the history. Okay. Now, I want to make a collection, and I'm not seeing this button on the left, APIs, environments, and all that. See, I wonder if maybe I need to make an authenticated account to do that now. History, new. What does this do? New. Nope, that's not it. That's just for a request. Lightweight, that's what I thought. Okay, I think I really need to make a login account in Postman now to do this. It used to be that you didn't have to, but you have to create an account. Okay, let me try this. See how hard it is to create an account in Postman. Create account via web browser. Right. Oh, my browser opened it up here. Okay. All right, so I'll work email, It means it might not like me using a Mailinator account. Let's find out. samdemo@mailinator.com. Username, samdemo. Password. I don't want that, but I do want to sign in. I'm human. Create free account. We'll see what this does. Ooh. It doesn't like that username. Okay. samdemo1. Okay. Great to have you aboard, redirecting you to the desktop app, or I can use authorization token. Okay, it could have redirected me, but I can log in here manually, which is what I wanted to do. So let me go back to Postman, which is the only Postman window it is. Okay, here we are. I should be able to sign in now. Okay. samdemo1. Okay. I am already logged in. Open Postman. Okay, this is what you have to do. For some reason, this will get me back to here. Okay, and now can I create a collection? This is important for the later parts of these projects. Select a workspace to move your local data. My workspace, sure, move data, see if I care. Okay, now I have collections. Okay, good. I don't care about what's new. Now I have collections and I can make a new collection. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. Now, so you do have to log in to Postman. That's new. That's different than my instructions. They used to not make you do that, but now they do. So, create a new collection and name it Crappy. Okay. Collection plus blank collection. Name Crappy. All right. Now, I want to add the Barrow token to it. So I go to the authorization tab and I select a type of Barrow token. And I'm going to copy this data here. I don't know if it's still in my clipboard because I did all that stuff. So I'm going to copy it again. There. Now, that's what goes, that's the Barrow token. And where do I put it in? Barrow token. I'll put it in here, I guess. Control V. Okay, there it is. All right. and maybe tab to get out of there. Okay. Now, one thing about burp, which is very confusing, is when you do things, you have to remember to save them or they don't stick. So at the top right, you have to click the floppy disk icon, which is there. It's hard to find too. This really frustrated me until I figured this out. You do things and then not save it. So that should be in there somewhere. And share, fork. What is this garbage? I think I might have to make it wider to see the save button. Yeah, there's the save button. At least they put the word save by it now. It didn't used to be there. So I saved this. Okay, now it's going to remember for this whole collection, use that authorization. So now I can do requests and they'll be logged in. All right. Now we're going to post to the community in the Burp browser. So community, new post, and add a new post. So that's here, community, new post, going to be test and from Sam. All right, add new post. All right, post created. Okay, now we're going to look at that request in Burp, and that's going to be the request ending in posts recents. So there it is, posts recents. It's a get. Here's the request. And all right. So we can send this from Postman. Now, where did the post data go? I think this is after you made the post. Yeah, this is the one that created my new post. This get is what got recent posts, and it used my Barrow token to do it. So I want to put that get request in Postman, just so I see how to do it. And so it's going to be add a request in burp, copy URL. This is how you get it. Remember, the URL requires a few pieces, an HTTPS, then this, then that. But you can right-click and copy URL, and that will do it for you. So now that I've got it, I can go to Postman, which is here, and add a request. I'm in the collection, add a request, okay. It's going to be a get, and it goes to that URL. And that's it. And when I send this, it should authenticate me. So, by the way, I wonder if I have to save it first. I think I do. I think I will want to save it at some time. I'm going to save it and then send it. And there's the JSON that came back. I guess this is the reply. All right. The response appears in the lower pane. And so this information, here's one flaw. This is going to send me people's posts, and it's going to send me sensitive information such as user IDs, emails, and addresses. This is a fairly common flaw also. I found an app that did this. I found 2 or 3 apps that did this, where you would, there was a college app from a university in Texas for alumni. And when you installed the app, you could search for yourself in the alumni list. And when you typed the first few letters of your name, it would show matching names. And when I looked at it in Burp, I saw that every request had a huge reply from the server, like 300 kilobytes. And when I looked in that, what it did every time you used the search function was download the entire database onto your phone, which included everybody's full name, credit card number, password, email address, mailing address for the whole alumni base. And so now I've been notifying colleges about security vulnerabilities for a while at this point. So I knew that it's hard to get through to people. So I didn't just try to contact the normal people. I contacted CCDC and I said, is there a CCDC team at this college? And they said there is. And I said, who's the faculty member sponsoring the CCDC team? And they told me, and I called that person. And they could understand. And when I called them the next day, the app was down for maintenance. We're coming up with a new version. You know, that's what you do. You have to get to somebody that does cyber competitions so they know that when you hear a security problem, you fix it. You don't freak out and call lawyers and go insane.
What's CCDC stand for?
CCDC is Collegiate Cyber Defense Competition. It is the most respected competition for college students. And if you become an NSA Center of Excellence, where you're approved by the National Security Agency, you are required to compete in some of these national competitions.
Gotcha.
And that's the best one to do. And that one, student teams of like 6 or 8 people first work remotely on practice sessions from your college, and then compete remotely. And then if they do well enough, they get to go to like a regional and then a national, and they just get given a bunch of machines and they have to defend them as attackers attack them. And the attackers are my friend Caitlin. She's in charge of the red team. So these ruthless hackers hack you, and you get scored on how well you're able to like keep them out. And also you're scored on how well you're able to communicate with management of the company, and the managers of the company keep calling you with other requests to do this and do that. And how if you can do those things on time, you get points too. And this is greatly respected because it very much simulates the real work of a cybersecurity professional on the job. And students that have been through this are like experienced professionals now. They're not going to freak out when they're under attack. The students often get upset and it's confusing and they don't know what to do. And of course they get hacked. And you might as well go through that. After that, you've seen it before.
Right.
So there's another one called the Collegiate Penetration Testing Competition, where you play the red team. You are paid to perform a penetration test on a company and then to write a report and present the report to the management and explain to them in simple terms what you found and what they should do. So that simulates what pen testers have to do. CCDC simulates what defenders have to do, and both of them are very good for the students. All my students that get on those teams have gone on to great jobs at big companies. And
So
they're
CCDC and what's the other one?
CCDC and CPTC. Let me bring them up here. You should know about them. These are absolutely things to do. Collegiate Cyber Defense. All right. Cyber, that might be enough. Yep, there you are. CCDC, the Cyber Defense Competition, and I'll throw this in the chat. So you've got it if it's handy. And that should do it. Yep. And CPTC is newer, and it's the offensive version of the same thing. And again, I think I got to put in cyber or something. There we are. And there are now, both of them have regional. Oh, that's good. CP.TC. That's cute. That's new. They've got a very good URL. Anyway, these are both great things. And
Collegiate Penetration Testing Competition.
Yeah.
And their upper level domain name is TC. That's cute.
Yeah. And this one here in particular, one great thing about CCDC is they start every semester or every year they start over, and they start with invitationals, which I love because there are no rules. They don't count. They're just practice events. And this, I always have a bunch of students that are not ready to do it, or they're not qualified. Like you have to be a full-time student or something. They have rules, but the invitationals have no rules. So all my students that are like curious, that want to look at it, they can just come to that. And then they can participate in an event where they practice this in a low stakes environment. And then later on come the ones that count, where you have to have an official team, and you actually have to find a judge to sit in the room and make sure your team is not cheating. And then if they pass the invitational, they go to the national and they have to, or the regional, and they have to actually go somewhere. But the invitationals are what I love best, because then all my students who want to do it can do it, even if they don't meet the requirements. Anyway, yeah, these are wonderful events. I highly encourage you to get involved in them. And every time I do it, a bunch of students tell me, I don't know what's going on at all. My teacher came in last week and said, you're doing this, and I haven't even had an appropriate course, and I have no idea what's happening. That's not a bad procedure, really.
Right.
It's like a job. I remember, jobs are manifestly unfair. It's like combat. You stand up and somebody shoots at you, and nobody gave you a textbook to read to prepare for this. You just have to cope. I remember when they hired me for my database job at the financial company, the boss said, I don't even really care so much what people know. I want good athletes that can move fast and figure out new things. Because every day the phone rings and a client needs something. I never heard of it. And the answer is, well, I'll Google it and figure it out by 5. Anyway.
Yeah,
so
I
those are good
teach
things.
that you have to be a research librarian. You have to know exactly what to put in Google to get pertinent data. So that's one of the roles I get people to start thinking about.
Yes. One thing I found very helpful is you need to learn the Microsoft official terms for things. That helps a lot if you can use the right word.
Okay, I mean, write that down.
Yeah. But that's these days,
Don't
maybe.
they flip flop their meaning back and forth? Rights, privileges, rights, privileges.
Oh, they do. They do. And that's part of the tough part. Yep. Anyway, so I think I'm done demonstrating this project. Let's see. Find the external endpoint. Yep. All right. So I'm going to stop this recording.